Hey everybody, so let's just get right into it. We're going to talk about technicals. We're going to look at the SPY. So if we're looking at the SPY, essentially 0%. We closed yesterday at 419.99. Today we closed at 419.99. The market is making fun of us. They can't even give us a 420. So, they're giving us 1 cent below that. I think it's pretty funny. So, some really rich people, they got some humor here. Now, let's just take a look at price action here. We're going to go on the day. We gapped hard this morning. We essentially faded all of that. You can see this little double top right here. And then where we ended the day is exactly where we ended the day yesterday. So, this entire gap got faded. Now let's go ahead. Let's look at why this 424.50-ish level is a very strong resistance. So let's just go in a lower time frame. Let's look at the 3-month. And let's just zoom out a little bit. So here is exhibit 1. So exhibit 1, this candle right here. Just kind of look at this pivot right here. So right here, we rallied hard. And then we had this bull trap. And you can see that this entire move got faded. This entire candle blown away. So that is what you would call a reversal. That is just one strong reversal, that entire move blown away. And then you can see continued sell-off. So that's exhibit 1 right there. Now let's just go a little bit more back in time. So here's exhibit 2. This is all the way back in March. So if we're looking all the way back in March, we basically gapped down hard and then we rallied very hard. So this little area right here, we also pivoted off of. So that's right around 424.59. Now let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the 1-year time frame. So here is another exhibit. Exhibit number 3. Look where this rally actually took us to. What do you know? 424.59. And exhibit number 4, we're going to go on the weekly time frame. Now, take a look right here. Whoop. And where we are right now. So do keep in mind, still have one more day to close out this week. But this week, right here, had this very, very strong rally. That entire move got faded. And, where we closed that week was right around 424.59. And then when you look, this is kind of where we hit today, and then we faded off of. So as you guys can see, this 424.59 level, very, very key. Do we close above that tomorrow or do we stay underneath it? And I do think that's going to be very important going forward. So let's just take a look at where we are right now. So if I'm going back, I'm going to look at the 1-year time frame. So we do have this support line right here. You can see support right there. It goes through this gap level. And then it's acting as resistance right here. And then we bounced off of it. So do we get back below this and do we start trading within this range right here? If we do fall below this support line, which coincidentally, it will probably line up very close to this 100-day moving average, which is sitting right around 408.81, then, I do believe that things do get pretty bearish and, maybe we could just continue falling here. So who knows? So let's just take a look at some of these shorter time frames again. So where's that first gap that we need to fill? So that first gap, that shows up right around here. First gap we need to fill right around 411.70. Second gap we need to fill all the way down here, 391.55. So that's basically the SPY. Let's take a look at the VIX. So if we're looking at the VIX right here, let's just zoom out a little bit. And then let's just kind of see where this is right here. So as you guys can see, this little band right here, the VIX tends to produce pretty solid bounces from this zone right here. So are we going to bounce off from this level right here? So right now, we are in a falling wedge. As you guys can see, this is the bottom support line, which we actually hit right here. And then you can see that we did produce a bounce off of it. And then this is an intermediate line, but this is a falling wedge within a falling wedge. So you guys can see that we're kind of on this intermediate line right here. And then this upper line right here, this is the top of that falling wedge. If we do break out of this, we could produce a pretty massive rally on the VIX. So if we do start breaking out of this, it will look something like being over 2120. So if we're to break over this tomorrow, that would be 2142 would be like the breakout zone. And then if we do get back above that, who knows how much this could rally. So let's take a look at the Qs. So that Qs, that pivot point is right here. So let's go on a lower time frame here so we could catch that exact pivot point. So as you guys can see, it's right there at 324.88. So right there. Can't miss it. Let's see where we went today. So today we actually made it up quite a bit. Wow. We actually got all the way to 330.35. And then, wow. So we closed that gap, sold off significantly more. So now we actually seeing some weakness in the tech sector. And then we do have this resistance trend line. And then you notice that we actually broke above this not too long ago. So it would be very interesting if we get back below this trend line. So this trend line could definitely act as support in the short term. So, we would have to be getting underneath 420 tomorrow. So if we're getting underneath 420, we're getting back within this entire range right here. So things do start looking much, much more bearish if we do get back below this range. So let's just go ahead and look at the weekly time frame. So yeah, on the weekly, if we close below that, then yeah, I would perceive that as being much more risky because we will essentially be back within this range, especially if we break underneath this line right here. So if we break underneath this line, then essentially, our trading range could literally be everything from here to all the way down here again. So things do get significantly more dangerous if we break this trend line and if we get below this trend line. So now let's look at VXN, which is NASDAQ volatility. As you guys can see, we're also in this falling wedge pattern. But here I see something pretty interesting. We are hitting a pretty big support level right around 25.25. And let me just zoom out so you guys can see this a little bit more clear. Let's go ahead. Let's point out all the areas. So right here, right there, right here, right there, right here, and right there. As you guys can see, this is a pretty key level of support. So if we do have a strong break below this, obviously we're going to see more upside. But then if we do start producing a bounce out of this, and we break out of this falling wedge, then yeah, we could probably see a pretty big sell-off. Let's take a look at Tesla. So if we do look at Tesla right here, we did momentarily break above this 200-day moving average, but you can see that we actually rejected pretty hard right there. So Tesla does have these two pretty important trend lines here. So let's just talk about these trend lines right here. So here, you know, we can see support, 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 more support, resistance right there, and then also resistance right here. And then with this trend line, you can see resistance, resistance, resistance right there. And then right here, you know, we had this bull trap, this entire move, bull trap. Resistance. And then you can see right here, we have this pretty massive move. And that's because we broke above this line. So now, you know, our trading range could literally be from here to there. You know, we could zigzag. Who knows? So now let's go back to this 1 year time frame. Introduce the moving averages so we could get some sort of better idea of what's going on again. We do see right here that this 20-day moving average is actually making it back above the 100-day moving average. So we are seeing these moving averages basically collide. So price action could get a little bit choppy here. So definitely watch Tesla the next few days. Apple, so much going in Apple, but you know, I don't really want to explain all the trend lines every single time. So if you do want to get an explanation of all of these trend lines, do watch my past videos. But the one thing I do want to point out is this clear bounce that we produce off of these trend lines. And you know, we went all the way up to 170.99, and then you can see that, you know, now, you know, the very highest trend line is going to be all the way up here, and that's going to be like 177.76. So, you know, that would probably be a very strong resistance. But right now, we do have all of this support. If we do break below this little area right here, then yeah, I mean, we could see support off of this trend line right here, this one. And then we could also see support off of this trend line right here. And then if we do break below both of these trend lines, then yeah, things will definitely get pretty hairy. So now let's take a look at Google. So Google is pretty interesting. Clearly we had some rejection right here. So if we do pay attention to where this rejected, you can see right here, we have this rejection zone right here. So if we go all the way back to May of 2021, you can see clear rejection right there, clear rejection right there. And then once we got past this level, we had this massive rally. So that is why we're seeing price action actually reject right here as well. So here we could see that same pivot level where we had this strong rally and then we faded that entire move. So I do think the key level to watch here on Google is right around 119. And I'm going to show you guys why. So if we're looking, you know, we do have something of a triple top. So we had this top right here, had this top right here. We had a false breakout right here. So this actually probably trapped a lot of bulls. And then you can see that we're struggling to get back in this level right here. And then we had this little breakout, and that's what's producing this move right here. But you can see that we're hitting the next level of resistance. So if we do get back below this, things could get pretty darn bearish. You know, maybe we'll find some support right around the 50-day moving average, which is right around 114, as you guys can see. So now let's take a look at Microsoft. Microsoft, man, I really feel like it wants to go to this 200-day moving average, right around 293.83. So we did come pretty darn close, you know. Let's see where we actually ended the day. So we hit 291.21. So honestly, this is what kind of makes it hard for me to say, you know, the market's going down, because it does look like Microsoft still wants a little bit more. So, you know, it looks like we actually want to like go up a little bit more and hit this trend line, but that doesn't have to happen. if I'm being honest, something like this could happen. And then, maybe we could go up, we could go down, and who knows, maybe we hit this trend line later. It doesn't always have to just go straight up from here. A lot of things can happen. But, we are very, very close to it. So if we do see some crazy rally in the next few days, I would start getting very bearish if we did hit this level all of a sudden from where we are right now. That to me would be like a serious short squeeze. And then I would expect that a lot of people would take some sort of short position when we hit this trend line. And I'll show you guys why this trend line is very important. So I zoom out. It was support all throughout this entire year. Now we're trying to get back to it. So to me, that's going to be hard resistance. Let's take a look at XLE. XLE has definitely rallied pretty darn hard today. I mean, 3.44% up. So we are hitting this very important resistance level. This is showing up right around 378-ish is kind of where we're looking at. So I could kind of point that out to you guys. So you guys can see that right here, we had some resistance. We also had a gap level right here. So you guys can see that we gapped up right there. You can also see, it was resistance right here. We had this false little breakout. And then now we're hitting that same level. So this is a pretty key level that we do want to pay attention to. Also resistance right there as well. So we have 4 points of resistance and then one area where it did gap off of that. So if we do make it above this level, I would think that we could produce some sort of gap. And then we'll see where it goes from here. So now let's take a look at XLF. My chart is a little bit messy here, so let me just delete some of these lines. So with XLF, the one key thing that I'm noticing is this resistance right here. So let me point it out to you guys. So it was prior support right here, acted as resistance right there. Now we do have that area where we had that bull trap. So that bull trap area actually takes us all the way up to 35.87. So that's this area right here. So we had that same area where we had this strong rally and then reversed that entire move. So if we do make it above this 35 level, then we could be trading within this range right here. So that's 35 to 35.87. So that would be the next trading range if we do maintain this level. And then if not, then this will look like a clear rejection and a double top. And then lastly, let's look at HGX. So I'm going to go ahead, remove the moving averages. And then we're going to look at this. So HGX has given us many hints before if we're going to see a reversal of some sorts. So let's just go ahead. Let's look at this resistance. So here, this entire move right here, that was a bull trap. And you guys can see that this area is where we had that pivot. We also have a double top right here. You can see resistance again right there. Resistance again right there. Resistance right there. And then look at where we're at right now. So now let me go ahead. I'm going to zoom in. So as you guys can see, if we do break back down below this, then on the weekly time frame, it's going to look like another rejection. And then we'll see where we go from there. But right now, I do want to pay attention to this. Do we reject off of this level? So that basically concludes the technical analysis for today. Definitely pay very, very close attention to tomorrow, because tomorrow's price action is going to be very, very important, because that is how we're going to end the week. So I'm definitely paying attention to SPY. I'm paying attention to the VIX, paying attention to HGX. Those are the three big things I'm paying attention to. So hope this video helped out you guys, and have a good one.